Evening or welcome to Kicking Dust. So, what we're going to show you today is, I think, just a good solid match, and I think these are fairly few and far between at the moment, so I'm always quite keen to show you a goodish match. Now, I'm actually going to run on the ground. I wanted to, usually when you come into the map, the first thing you do is you look at what the map is, and you look at the socket configuration. And that's exactly what I've done here. Is I've worked out, obviously, that this has got the elevated point with a node cannon, so getting spawn pads up here is going to be quite important. So that was really the plan. This is my famous spawn suit, so it's literally just all the spawn pads I can muster. And this is kind of where we're going to go with this match today. So it's almost like a defense point. And I die stupidly right here because turrets, lol, are pretty good now, as you can see. Anyway, so let's talk about where we are with things in the game. Now, there's quite an interesting few things going on at the moment with regards to PC. PC is something that I generally avoid, like a kind of leprous plague-bearing guy. That I just don't like PC. Everything about it completely uninterests me, because in everything that we kind of saw when PC came out, it was maybe deployed wrong. I think the time zones were kind of stupid as well, so everything was released and then everybody just did a land rush. And now you've got this kind of weird equilibrium almost, where I think a lot of districts are just completely permanently locked. So in essence, it's kind of become a bit of a pointless game mode. I say that kind of with a bit of a reservation, because it is fun. You do get a really good melting pot of kind of very challenging matches. That's the way to think of it, is that you do generally get a much higher level of match in PC, because it kind of means more. People will bring better fits, more kind of aggressive fits. So I can see the requirement for PC, but I'd say maybe it needs just a bit of a redesign. The idea is nice, but I would say probably at the moment maybe the operation isn't. So basically what people are doing is they're just locking their districts. So if you've got like two districts, you could just invade one from the other, so therefore you lock the districts, if you see what I mean, which kind of doesn't really enable a fight. It's kind of also being used as a way just to get, I guess, like 20 people in the game a lot of money. The CEOs and directors of the corps who own most of the land are probably raking it in, and I think they will not. It's like the tech moons in Eve. They don't want to rock the boat because they're making a substantial amount of money, and for all we know, real money trading is starting to begin here as well. Not necessarily in Dust, but it will eventually happen, because like in Eve, all of a sudden some people realize that, hey, I have the equivalent of maybe $100,000 in my Eve account. So that while it's against the game's rules, it's against the EU, LA, it's against everything. People eventually just get greedy. And sadly, we did see this in Eve. I personally saw a lot of it happening in the big alliances, but this is just a part of the game that I think you have to accept. So whether or not it's happening in Dust, who knows? Who could say? But I think when you've got people who are earning, maybe 100 million a day, which is probably more than possible, I think eventually they're just going to say, tell you what, bro, send me $5 on PayPal, and I'll send you like 50 mil. And there are a lot of people out there who would snap your hand off for that, because nobody wants to play to earn money to enjoy the game. So it's going to happen, I think, and I think there's probably nothing really anybody can do about it. I think CCP have obviously created yet again an environment where this thing can unfortunately thrive. And now with the ability to give money to anybody with probably very little record of what's being moved and so on, I think, to be honest, we're probably going to see this, if not now, very soon. But anyway, that's a byproduct of PC. This is unfortunately the nature of when you start to give free, ticking money every day. A tick of money will go to your account. That's when unfortunately the whole game starts to be angled, if you like, towards, well, how can we manipulate this for our own benefit? And I think PC is one of these unfortunate mechanics, like moon mining in Eve. I think having districts in Dust is obviously ticking money into people's accounts, and eventually they're going to get wise and realize they could be literally earning money doing their day job as Dust. I make myself very unpopular when I talk about this, because I think a lot of people, there is obviously cartels and groups of people who do this, and don't want their boat to be rocked, because the moment that a policy change happens, their entire livelihood goes down the pan. And you know, unfortunately, we have seen this for so long in Eve and other games that, you know, the whole real world, you know, RMTing, it's called real money trading, is very prevalent in all games where you have this automated feed of ISK. And I think it's unfortunate that PC is so kind of prevalent towards that. I honestly would remove it. I really would. And make it more of a kind of thing where you can just, you know, skirmish for a district. I would make it so you can raid a district. So literally, if people wanted to, they could gather a group of players, they could immediately raid a district, and that would start an immediate fight that, okay, you could end up not fighting anybody, but hey, some people would have a bit of a laugh doing that. And you can sit and dominate literally like this, you dominate a point, and if you win the match, okay, yeah, again, you could end up fighting no one, but if you win, you take 30 mil for the day, or you take whatever it is from their clone count, 5 mil, whatever. Then that would incite a huge amount of people to attack. It would mean that, you know, you can't get a group of, let's face it, 20 or so, you know, people who maybe don't have jobs and are playing this game pretty much 24/7. You can't get them to lock down an entire gaming mode as well. Just saying, bro. Just saying. Don't hate me. I think, you know, you could make it a lot more interesting than certainly have now. The whole idea of PC is to make people play the game. It's to give veterans something to do, and it's to make people want to log in and defend something. But in their own mechanics, they've created a mechanic where people don't want to even bother taking a district. What is the point of owning a district? You know, other than ISK, which, yeah, okay, I can see the point in that. Other than maybe good fights, yep, okay, I can see the point of that. But do you want to play every 8 hours or every day, or... No, do you literally want your game to dictate when you log on? That's my issue with it. My views are well publicised and noted and such on this topic, and I think for us, for Darkstar Army, it was just never going to be a good thing to do. Because we're just more casual than most players. We have an open door policy. It does make me laugh when people email me and say, can we join your corp? Yeah, just apply and you'll get in. It's as simple as that. This is the way we run our corp, because we're not into the elitist, entitled, quote, douchebaggery that goes on with a lot of this game. Because, to be honest, we were those entitled, elitist douchebags maybe, I don't know, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and we've all moved on from that now. We look and see a lot of the behaviours and attitudes in this game as just prevalent and reciprocating what exactly we did to other people, you know, probably in the way back. And this is why it's kind of amusing to us, because like even the trolls and the little kind of buzzwords that are being used, they're exactly what we used like 8 years ago. And it's kind of like, it's like seeing somebody come into like a disco, what am I saying? Come into like a pub or something with flared trousers on. You just think to yourself, what a hipster. You know, you think, oh, well, we were doing that when it was cool, my friend. And it's like, yeah, you look a complete dick, you know, using that. It's like, it just makes me cringe when people call me a scrub or something like that, because it's like, oh, dude, seriously, that's like goon swarm memes from maybe, I don't know, 2005. And it's just funny when people use it. But that's it. That's what can you do. You know, that this is the prevalent culture of Dust 514, and I think PC has made it worse, because, you know, if you ever go to the war room, which I would not probably advise you do, you generally do find that there is a huge amount of, quote, entitlement here from people who, you know, I mean, I love the quote, oh, I've been here since closed beta. Well, good on you, bro, so have I. Does that make you more entitled than me, or me than you, or what? It doesn't matter. If you're a dick, you're a dick. It's simple as that. It doesn't matter if you're like a good or bad player. If you're a complete tool, then you're a complete tool. It doesn't matter how long you've been playing. If you're a tool, you're a tool. And I think there's a lot of this going on at the moment where, quite frankly, people are just being complete, misguided, I guess, people, because they're sort of thinking that their tenure in this game means a thing, means anything. It doesn't. It doesn't mean a thing. And I think a lot of the time people, I guess, just treat it a little bit like, well, who are you, bro? Who are you, bro? And that whole thing is just complete horseshit. So, you know, in a long way, I guess PC is in a bit of trouble. And I think, if I'm honest with you, I think this is maybe personally why CPM1 is maybe being cited as being a bit of a nightmare, because I think CPM1 is going to have to just redesign that whole thing. And if you have to take on all of the people who do PC currently and see themselves as, quote, elite, then I pity you, because you are going to be the most flamed motherfuckers in this game. So go, food for thought. Interesting one. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.